Welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to be giving you 10 dream matches from WWE and TNA. We just had the big announcement of their big crossover between the two brands where TNA people can go to WWE and vice versa. So that'd be very cool. We're recording this the same day as TNA Genesis. We just got finished watching Joe Henry become the new TNA World Champion. So yeah, we're going to give y'all our 10 favorite dream matches that possibly could come in the near future.
Yeah, and we're going to kick things off with the new school versus the old school, a TNA legend versus a future TNA legend. That is AJ Styles take on Ace Austin. Now this match I think could be really fun, just like I kind of said, the new school versus the old school. Ace Austin trying to take over as the new guy for TNA. And yeah, I think it would be a really fun mashup of styles.
Yeah, obviously AJ Styles has a long history with TNA. Some people still say he's one of the best wrestlers to this day, which, you know, some people, you can't really argue. He is one of the greatest, especially of his era. Yeah, it'd be cool to see that era versus this new up-and-coming era of TNA, this new kind of rebirth of TNA that we're kind of going through right now. Yeah, it'd be very cool to see AJ come back, do that final match, and kind of help put over somebody that's so young as Chris Bay.
Yeah,
Ace Austin, sorry.
Yeah, and AJ's was one of the guys where I think we need one more TNA match from AJ. Whether he wants it or not, we need it. But next up, we have one of your favorites. We have Spitfire versus Damage Control. We have Io and Asuka pictured here, but really any combination of teams would be really fun. Spitfire, one of the best tag teams, if not the best tag team in TNA going right now. And yeah, really should be a really cool match.
Yeah, Spitfire is probably my favorite women's tag team in general, in all of pro wrestling, honestly. They're very good. Specifically, Danny Luna kind of sticks out a little bit more to me, but they're both amazing in their own right, two different styles. And I think it'd be very cool to see them on a big stage versus kind of just legends of women's wrestling, sort of, as far as Asuka, Io, Kyrie, you could throw in there a younger Dakota Kai, obviously. But any combination of Damage Control versus Spitfire, just let me have it. I'm here for it.
And then next up, we have Moose and Obimi. Now, this match is just two big, meaty men slapping meat, and that's what we like around here. But yeah, it should be a really cool match. Probably wouldn't be your most flashy match, obviously, but when these two lock up, I'm expecting to see a lot of hard-hitting shots.
Yeah, I want to see some big power moves. I want to see Obafemi toss Moose, and I want to see it vice versa. I want to see Moose pick up Obafemi and toss him over the top rope or do some kind of crazy spot here. We've seen Moose have an amazing match with Ace Austin just today at Genesis, so that was a very cool match where we've seen him kind of choke slam him from the top rope to the apron. Very cool there. But yeah, hopefully we see these two in action. It'd be very nice to see Moose in a WWE stage.
Yeah. And then next up, who do we have?
We have arguably the best woman wrestler in WWE versus the best women's wrestler in TNA. That is Masha versus Bianca Belair. Just two clash of styles in a way, where Masha is just kind of hard-hitting, kind of MMA, Shayna Baszler sort of style wrestler, and then Bianca's kind of like your do-it-all, a little bit of everything. And yeah, I think this would just be an amazing hard-hitting match. I'd like to maybe see a stipulation on this one, some sort of hardcore rules to this maybe. I think that'd be really cool, especially for Masha Slamovich. But yeah, this would be an amazing match. Could definitely see this even at like a Mania or something like that.
Yeah, and Masha is one of those people that you don't really see her style too much in WWE. Maybe you can say something like a Rhea might have that same style, but I can't really name too many people who have that real physical kind of style. It'll be interesting to see how Bianca would try to counter that with her style of wrestling, and I think it would end up with a pretty good match. Next up, who do we have, though?
We have the Hardys. We have the Hardys going against Motor City Machine Guns. Now, Matt Hardy recently came out and said that he just kind of like a dream match of his, a tag team that he's never faced, which there's not too many of those teams. The Hardys kind of went around the world and faced everyone at this point. And this is one of those legendary teams that's never happened. They've been in TNA a long time, so is the Hardys, but they never quite crossed paths in the right way. So this would be an amazing match for both sides, and it'll definitely be one to remember in WWE.
Yeah, I think the funniest thing is the best TNA tag team now in WWE, and then the best WWE tag team arguably in TNA now. Would be really cool now that we have the intercrossings on different sides now. But yeah, I think this could be really fun. Would have also have to see this in more of all four of their primes, preferably, but I think it'd still end up in a decent, pretty match if they happen again soon.
Yeah, for sure.
And then next up, we have a real grudge match. Something that can get really physical. Probably would have to be maybe some type of kind of like how we've seen in AEW with Swerve and Hangman. Just the it's not sanctioned by WWE or TNA and stuff like that. Have these two go at it. That's Tessa and Chelsea. Yeah, there's actually real animosity between the two. If they could work out a match together, then I think it could be a pretty big money match.
Yeah, this is kind of your women's version of Punk and Seth in a way. There's two real life blood feud in a way. Obviously, Tessa has a past that a lot of people don't like. Obviously, you can read about that all you want online. We won't mention it here. And Chelsea Green has been one of the people that kind of spoke about her the most and has been kind of outspoken about her and kind of letting it be known more to the public, things that she's done in the past. Obviously, I don't think Chelsea would want to do this match, but I think she would kind of see the money. I think she could, maybe put the bad feelings to aside to kind of, put on something big for the fans and just for the WWE in general, because this would be a big match, I would think.
Yeah. And then next up, we have two of the most grappler-styled wrestlers, and that is Josh Alexander from TNA and Chad Gable. I think these two could have an absolute fantastic match. Chad Gable's one of those guys now who I believe can, have a great match with any type of style of wrestling, and to see somebody that he will be kind of used to in that style, and that he can kind of probably see a little bit of himself. They kind of see each other in themselves. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun match.
Yeah, as you mentioned, they kind of are very similar in the way they wrestle and the way they do their moves and sell and kind of everything in general. They're pretty similar, so it'd be very cool to see them clash. Obviously, like I kind of mentioned, we just finished Genesis, and Josh Alexander just finished up with TNA, and he quit at the end of his match versus Mike Santana. So this is very much a big possibility that could happen. And yeah, he is kind of a veteran of wrestling that a lot of people respect, a lot of people know. So it'd be cool to see him get to that WWE stage and get a big moment.
Yeah. And then next up, we have the Rascals taking on the Street Profits. Now, this is two teams that are really just kind of, I'm going to say innovators, because we have seen stuff they have done, but they do it at such a high level, and it's really interesting to see how good they really are and how much they're going to develop over these next few years. Even though they're kind of getting there in age, they still got a long time to go, I think, in the business. And yeah, I think it's going to make a really good tag team match.
Yeah, Rascals just lost to the Hardys, unfortunately, at the last TNA event. So, maybe they could come back, get a WWE run, potentially get some NXT titles or some Raw titles, some Smack tag titles. Yeah, Rascals, there's someone who's very familiar with NXT in general, but it'd be cool to see them kind of lock up with the Profits. And, yeah, it'd just be a cool, fun, just high-flying match for sure.
And then next up, we have kind of the big social media match. We have the Meme and Joe Hendry and We Believe versus the Maverick Logan Paul. Now, this match could be 50-50. It can be a really fun match where Joe Hendry is able to keep up with like how kind of Logan's style is, or Logan kind of slows his style down to go to Joe Hendry's. But either way, I think this is not more for the match itself, but for the promos and the interactions we can see between them, and like promos and stuff like that.
Now, this is just going to be for the big viral moment or big Twitter clip that WWE posts that'll get X amount of millions of views. I can see Logan Paul. He has a past of doing music as well, so you could maybe see some in-ring, little songs back and forth between the two potentially. But yeah, I think that'd be a very fun thing to happen in general. I think it'd be perfect for Joe Hendry and perfect for Logan Paul. Yeah, it'd be very just cool to see something like this happen.
Yeah. And then finish us off. Who is our final match?
We have our former TNA Knockouts champion versus our current women's heavyweight champion, Rhea Ripley versus Jordynne Grace. Obviously, there's another match that is very much possible to happen. Jordynne Grace is kind of out the door of TNA and on her way into WWE as of the recording of this. So this is a match that I think will happen at some point. This is a match that I think everyone wants to see happen, including Jordynne and Rhea themselves.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the closest you can get. This is kind of like TNA's version of Rhea Ripley. But yeah, I think this would just be really fun match. I think both women would try to pull out a lot of unique moves, because I think that's kind of what they like to do with newer opponents. They kind of just like to see what they can just hit really well, what reacts with the crowd and stuff. But yeah, I think this would be a really fun match. Two of the biggest babyface women in the company, or in their respective companies, so that could be really fun as well. But yeah, definitely a match that I think we definitely could get maybe even by the end of 2025.
Yeah, definitely could happen very soon. We've seen the likes of Rhea Ripley show up in NXT, not necessarily in the ring coming back, but she had backstage promos with Julia and Stephanie and whatnot. So definitely a possibility coming up in the future. But that is our 10 TNA crossover matches to WWE. Let us know what matches we might have missed out on, who we forgot on this list. But we appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.